What's up guys, I'm here with another video. Welcome to episode 69 of Let's Build a City. Today we're building a Costa coffee shop. So yeah. Let's build the Costa coffee. Let's build the Costa coffee. Hello Foxy the Roblox custom sus. Welcome to the live stream.
Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a Costa coffee shop for all of your city building needs. And not only will I show you
Hi. Hello Foxy the Roblox custom sus.
Extensive inside of your Costa as well. If you enjoy this tutorial, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you're new around here and clicking that little bell next to the subscription button, as that will make sure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. But without any further ado, let's get started. So just before we begin building, everybody, here are all of the materials that we will be...
Alright, let's grab the materials. So we need white concrete, grey concrete, red concrete, black concrete, black stained glass pane, we need item frames, cocoa beans, I think those are leaves, and it's your bluettes.
Needing to make our Costa coffee, please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. The amount of space required to make the build is a 24 by 25 block area as represented by the white concrete grid on the ground, which you are more than welcome to make. If you are planning out a city, I'd always recommend it if you want to make sure that everything fits. And that's it. Pause the video if you have to, go over all that stuff, make sure you got enough room to make it, make sure you're ready, and once you are, we can begin. Step 1, my coffee house building friends, come all the way over to the front left hand corner of your grid. If you've made it, count to the right of this corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then inwards, 1, 2. We're going to start this off by placing 6 white concrete on top of each other.
6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So perfect.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're then going to extend the 6th block backwards by 17.
17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna try that again. Here we go. 1, 2. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Go make sure that's correct. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay. That's correct.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We're then going to extend it all the way down to the ground, like this. And then we're going to add another layer of white concrete all the way around inside of this. So basically, we want to have something which should look exactly like that. And that's not all for this particular part of the build. So on this side of the build here, we want to have a row of vertical grey concrete that kind of like connects from the ground all the way up to the top of the frame. But the grey concrete wants to sit one row inside. And then we want to bring a row of red concrete forwards and to the right in relation to the grey concrete, and it wants to do the same thing like this. So you can see that we've went in and then we've came back out again. Extend the top and bottom of the red concrete to the right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll also want to join it together. So essentially you're making a little rectangle like this. We're going to fill the middle of that in using black concrete. Now, this Costa happens to have a drive-through, as quite a few of them do, so we're going to be placing some item frames along the top row of the black concrete. We're going to place some cocoa beans in there. Underneath these we'll be placing some signs as well, and that will kind of just label the coffee, so like latte, like mocha, americano, you know, whatever the drink may be. On the opposite side of the sign, we want another row of grey concrete, kind of like extending from the ground, connecting upwards like this, and it wants to just slot inwards as well. And then we want to grab black concrete, and we want to go one row further in, and we want to do the same thing again. So like black concrete just extending further and further in. There's a lot of depth to this build, quite literally. We're going to extend the black concrete all the way to the right, and it is going to connect down where it would diagonally connect to the white concrete, but it's not there, of course. We're going to place a row of black concrete underneath that top row, and then we're going to divide this little area into like that, and you can even like dig underneath the windows if you like, and you can place some black concrete in there. And then we just want to add those windows that I guess I jumped them a little bit, but those are windows. There we go, like that. And we're going to take the top of this area, so these windows, it looks a little bit weird with 2 rows of black concrete. Well, don't worry, because all you got to do is add a few rows of red concrete until the red concrete extends outwards like this, and then you have a very modern designed concrete. Well, don't worry, because all you got to do is add a few rows of red concrete until the red concrete extends outwards like this, and then you have a very modern designed looking wall. And if we just come to the front rather quickly, I want you to extend all these white concretes on the front to the right, like this. You can even extend them inwards as well, like as along the top. And we will also have to do it just at the back as well. And that will kind of like cement things in a little bit. I'm not quite sure what better way to say it, but you can see now that there's not really any gaps, which is kind of what we're after. So this is the initial drive-through area, pretty much. This is where you drive through, you order your coffee, or you see what you want, and then you go to the window, you answer it, and then they give it to you, assuming that you have the money for it. Well, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start building across the back, and we're going to need grey concrete for this. We're going to extend this white concrete here, so as we look at the build like this, we want to be one row inwards in relation to the white. Depth is always important, and we want to place 11, 1, 2...
None of us will have any peace until there are no monsters left in the world. Are you ready for this?
Quite detailed enough. Very well done.
Oh.
And then you have a extent of have to, which is kind of what you asked for it in a grey concrete for this. We're going to extend this white concrete here, so as we look at the build like this, we want to be one row inwards in relation to the white. Depth is always important. And we want to place 11, 1, 2, 3.
11. 1. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Grey concrete's extending across the width of the build, and then we're going to add 5 or 4 more rows on top, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and the grey concrete will just sit one row underneath the white concrete that we have just to the right of us. So it will just, again, it's all about depth and making sure that everything's different levels. It's not just like a big giant square or rectangle. It's really important to vary things a bit. We're going to grab the white concrete, and there's, by the way, there's no detail on this wall. We can add some later, but that'll be up to you. I'll show you when you may not want to. Well, from this grey concrete, we want to start coming towards the front of the build again. We want to place white concrete forwards and diagonally in relation to the grate. Then we want to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white concrete extending up from the ground in this position. They're then going to extend forwards by 3, 1, 2, 3 like this, and then join to the ground. But not only shall we join to the ground, but we'll also join together on the ground like this. And we're going to place 2 black stained glass pane on the right side here. So this is going to be the drive-through window. This is where you would collect your coffee or whatever. And we're just going to place some white concrete to fill the rest of that area in. What you can also do is you can extend the top of this white concrete into the build 1, 2, 3. So to make it a little bit more square, to make it a little bit more 3D, it doesn't really serve much of a purpose, like functionality. It just looks a little bit better if you do it this way. And we're going to leave the rest of it alone. We're going to kind of have it be a bit hollow, and you'll see why later. We're going to place grey concrete extending inwards and diagonally from the drive-through window. We want to have 1, 2, 3 rows. But these 3 rows actually want to extend upwards, but we're only going to extend up this first block by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, lower than the white concrete, and then we're going to extend this 4th block towards the front by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and
10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That will, I'm just going to make sure that we can actually do that, and that will just join all the way across to the front of the build, and it should just sit 1 row inwards. Again, depth, 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 depth. And what we're going to do is extend these remaining 2 rows of grey concrete. We're going to extend and join them upwards. We're going to grab our black concrete and we're going to place a row of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 black concrete just sitting inside the row of grey, like this, extending inwards. We're then going to extend the black concrete forwards by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then join it down to the ground. We want to add another row underneath, and you're going to see some parallels quite literally to what is over there. We're going to split in half, and we're going to place black concrete like joining together in the ground, and then we're going to have some. It's so hard to place black on black glass pane. Here we go, black glass pane joined as windows just underneath. And what else do we want to do? Well, on the front of the build, we want to add some windows and an entrance and all sorts of stuff. So we're going to extend this grey concrete that kind of connected back. We're going to join it down to the ground. We're going to add another row of grey concrete just along the inside like this. What we can then do is we can grab our black concrete again, and we can place a black concrete extending to the right and inwards. We're going to go up by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go right by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're just going to join down like this. We're going to add another row of black concrete underneath, join it together in the ground. We're going to add some black stained glass pane as the windows. And what else can we do? Well, this wants to be an entrance here, so I think that we're going to add just 1 row of black along the top. We're not going to add 2, and we're going to place some black stained glass paint, kind of like in like a door sort of fashion. There's a few different ways that you can do this. So you could have it kind of like open plan like this, and something that I quite like to do is I like to use like fence to look like door handles. So that's a possibility. We could have it look as though that like it's like an open door. They kind of look like door handles. So yeah, that's how I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to join it at the top. It's going to look like kind of like those doors that you kind of like fling open. I don't want to join it to the top because I think it would look a little bit weird. But what we do have to do along the top is add some red concrete. The red concrete is going to sit along the upper row of black concrete, and then it is going to extend outwards to surpass it. So it's going to look a little something like this. So it's just more modern shapes. It just adds like a really nice trim for the build. Pretty much, it's just like a really nice effect. What else do we want to do? Well, I want to add the drive-through to the build, I think. The drive-through is going to require some cyan terracotta, some oak leaves, we'll need some flowers, and not much else for the actual physical drive-through. So basically what we want to have is rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, going all the way around the edge of our Costa. So we want to take the most outward parts, so this, for instance, this back part here, we want to have 1, 2, 3, 4 extending around it, and the same everywhere else. So no matter what, you want to take the most outer part of every side. You only have to focus on the left, right, and back. You want to take the most outer parts, and you want to dig out 4 solid rows, and I'm going to use, on this occasion, cyan terracotta for the drive-through material, so for the road material. Now, this isn't common. I usually use grey concrete for my roads, and you can see it pretty much everywhere. The only reason, and it is the only reason that I'm not using grey concrete is because we've got a decent amount of grey concrete in the build, and I don't want the build to blend in too much to the road, or the road blend into the build, if you understand what I'm saying. So
I'm gonna make the road grey concrete. I don't really care anyway, because I don't really mind if it blends in, because yeah, I don't really mind if it blends in. It'll be fine anyway. Just gotta dig all this out.
Other alternatives, I mean, you could use black concrete, you could use whatever you usually use as your road material, but light grey concrete's not bad as well, but it's not unusual for drive-throughs or even like businesses to have a different kind of road material anyway, so this will still connect to your city in you know, regardless, it doesn't really matter. It's basically just so that the building pops a little bit more. It just doesn't blend into the road that we're going to be placing, which is very, very important. We don't want it to. So once you've got your like 4 rows of cyan terracotta kind of just orbiting around your build like this, I'm going to add oak leaves to create a separation. This is basically just going to sit on the outside of the road. If you like, you can modify this and you can say car park and stuff to perhaps like the right or left. Just going to sit on the outside of the road. If you like, you can modify this and you can say car park and stuff to perhaps like the right or left or back part of Costa. But I'm just kind of like sectioning it off a little bit. You want to also add some sunlight as well. So I like having some leaves by this window here on the right and flowers to the right of it. Specifically white, because a lot of builders can't flowers. I think the white flowers, specifically the azure bluettes, I quite like how they bunch together. They look quite dense. I think that they look really good there. Same thing here on this left side as well, and there's also a good opportunity to add them around. And there's a good opportunity to have them around here. So basically, just in between the road. And I know that it looks a little bit weird that we've got some like white concrete underneath the hedge. I'll probably fix that, or maybe not. I do kind of like it as well. It does. It kind of like it just adds a little bit of extra colour contrast. So just set out front of our Costa, we need a material that we don't have. We actually need 2 things that I don't have on me. We need smooth stone and we need oak sides. The smooth stone is basically going to be the pavement material just outside of Costa. I'll show you in a second, but basically all of my city streets, almost all of them, outside businesses, anywhere that you walk, I use smooth snow pretty much. And anywhere that I drive, I typically use, as you'll be able to see, I typically use grey concrete. But if I use smooth stone pretty much. And anywhere that I drive, I typically use, as you'll be able to see, I typically use grey concrete. But I don't think you can kind of tell from this angle, it just doesn't go together. So this is basically to have it blend into the street. Almost all of them, outside businesses, anywhere that you walk, I use smooth stone pretty much. And anywhere that I drive, I typically use, as you'll be able to see, I typically use grey concrete. But I don't think you can kind of tell from this angle, it just doesn't go together. So this is basically to have it blend into the street. The reason that we have the signs is, I actually hinted at it earlier. Yeah, I mean, this is just for drinks. So like, if you want to have like a mocha, I'm not going to write all of these out. And then, like, if you wanted to have a latte, I'm writing them all out, aren't I? And then, I mean, you could even have, like, tea as well, although that doesn't make sense with the coffee beans. But you guys get the idea. Like, you can just write, like, little advertisement. And then, I mean, you could even have, like, tea as well, although that doesn't make sense with the coffee beans. But you guys write all of these out. And then, like, if you wanted to have for drinks, so, like, if you want to have, like, a mocha, I'm not going to write all of these out. And then, like, if you wanted to have a latte, I'm writing them all out, aren't I? And then, I mean, you could even have, like, tea as well, although that doesn't make sense with the coffee beans. But you guys get the idea. Like, you can just write, like, little advertisements for... There's not much left to do outside, but we are going to finish what we do have to do. There is a standing sign that's made out of spruce trapdoors, spruce fence gate, black concrete, item frames, cocoa beans, and there's not much left to do outside, but we are going to finish what we do have to do. There is a standing sign that's made out of spruce trapdoors, spruce fence gate, black concrete, item frames, cocoa beans, and we're also going to need oak stairs and some oak fence too. So, just in front of the... right side, this little grey concrete here, I'm going to place spruce fence gate, black concrete on top, and I'm going to place some spruce trapdoors kind of going all the way around. And this is basically like one of those folding signs that you kind of have just standing, and it's just going to advertise some coffee, just like that. That's all it's going to do. It just looks a little bit better. Maybe it'll have specials on it, maybe, I mean, do this. Yeah, you can. So if you wanted to, you could have like latte, like latte, and then where are we? Like, you know, maybe it's like a special like £1, which would be very cheap for a latte. But you guys get the idea. We're going to have just a little outdoor seating area. It's so tiny, but it's made out of an oak wood stairs, oak fence, oak wood stairs. It can be placed anywhere around here, but I placed it diagonally away from the sign. If you want to make the chairs look a little bit fancier, oak trapdoors, and if you want to put a top on the table, oak trapdoors here next to the oaks. If you want to make the chairs look a little bit fancier, oak trapdoors, and if you want to put a top on the table, oak trapdoors here next to the oaks. Yep, there we go. And then white cloth here just makes it look a little bit nicer, a little bit more detailed. Yep, there we go. And then white cloth here just makes it look a little bit nicer, a little bit more detailed. We want to write Costa along the top of here. We want to make a sign. Now the sign is going to be made out of banners, and banners inevitably mean that we have got to do a little bit of shuffling around. I find that if you're on console, the banners are best in the first row, like in the top left corner, one row in, and then just keep the dice wherever. So to make the signs, you're going to need either a loom or a crafting table. I would highly suggest the loom. So I'm going to try.
I'm going to make the sign.
And we're going to place our first banner inside of the loom with some red dye. The first letter is C, so horizontal row of red dye along the top, horizontal row of red dye along the bottom, vertical row of red dye up the left side. That is C. New banner. This is going to be O, so horizontal row of red dye along the top, horizontal row of red dye along the bottom, vertical row of red on the right, and vertical row of red on the left. And that is O. Brand new banner, we need to make S. That's going to be red dye along the top, red dye along the bottom, and then the diagonal red top left corner to bottom right corner. And then we have S. Now for T, so quite literally T, when we get inside Costa, we want to have a horizontal row of red concrete along the top, and a row of red dye down the middle. I believe I said a row of red concrete along the top, but you guys know what I'm talking about, we're using the dyes of course. So now for the final letter, which is A, vertical row of red dye along the O, so concrete again on the left hand side, vertical row of red up the right, horizontal row of red along the top, and a middle row of red through the middle. And that will be Costa. So the Costa sign actually sits rather perfectly with the door, almost as if it was designed that way. So we take the left side of the door, so this black concrete on the left of the door, C-O-S-T-A, perfect, Costa. So now that we have done pretty much most of the outside, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be doing a little bit of work on the inside, and as I walk to the inside, I like to do this. I don't know why. Whenever I talk about doing the inside, I like to walk along through like this from this kind of is it third person? And basically, the first one that we're going to do in here, we've got quite a few materials that we can use. We're going to use some chiseled quartz. We're going to use some red concrete. We're going to use some quartz slab. We're even going to use some black stained glass as well, and we're going to use some spruce blocks too, so some like spruce wood planks. We'll need some spruce wood trapdoors, and that's all we'll have out at the moment. So step one, we are going to completely dig out the floor. Now, I have opted to use chiseled quartz for the floor because it was a material that I have sort of fell in love with, honestly. I really like the chiseled quartz. Oh, plus we might have to smooth out some walls as well, I just realised. Although, we could utilise the space that we have there, maybe to make the fridge/freezers look a little bit better. We'll have to see about that. But I kind of fell in love with chiseled quartz I really like the texture of it. I really like the brightness of the block. It's just like a nice bright, just a nice bright textured white block. Like, especially when you've got a really dark interior. The interior is dark because of the colours that we've chosen, not just because it's like, I mean, literally we've got like the ceiling up. Like, we couldn't really get too much more light in here, and it's still a little bit dark, but that's because we've a lot of black and a lot of dark grey as well, and red isn't the most bright colour either, so that's why I just really like some chisel quartz. I like it in ceilings a lot as well. Ceilings or floors, I'm tending to use it a lot in both, and just here too. Perfect. So I do actually want to make a ceiling. The ceiling is going to sit above the windows, and it's going to be made pretty much mostly out of red concrete. Now, the red concrete, like I said, just above the windows, you want to have about 3 rows of free space in here. So I think it's light enough that we're okay to just like we're all right to just cut this cut off our light source. I think that we've got enough windows that we'll still be able to see. But yeah, we just want to have all of this red concrete here, and we are going to be doing something a little bit interesting to the roof as well. So you'll see that in just a second after we make the counter, because I want to create a skylight. How dark is it in here now? It's not too bad at all, actually. You can still see quite easily. So I want you to, using your red concrete, I want you to take this side of the drive-through window and place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 red concrete eggs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Extending across. We're then going to leave a gap of 1 and place 2 red concretes extending towards the back wall. This will give us a, this basically just gives us a counter space. Now, the reason that we have this, that I want to...
Hold on guys, I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Hello cheat, welcome to live stream.
To do this now is because I actually designated this area here. I want to have a skylight, and I want the skylight to kind of run around where the actual counter space is. So basically, just the area above the counter, I really, for some reason, want to have like I just want to have a skylight. The skylight is basically just made out of, and by the way, we're also going to place some quartz around the hole that we've just done. So, oh no, just above that. So slabs like this. Here we go. The quartz slabs are going to go around the top of the hole like this, and the quartz slabs basically sit parallel with the bottom of the counter. And then that's just going to keep things a little bit brighter. So above here, we're just going to have some glass kind of like poking in. And I know it looks a little bit messy now at the moment. On the roof is we can fill the rest of the roof in with grey. Hopefully I've explained how to do that properly. Where we placed the counter, we want to dig out the same amount of space out of the ceiling that the counter and all inside of it possesses, all of that space. And I want you to place a trim of quartz slab around it. And by the way, we're also going to use a little bit of white concrete just to connect that down too. I just want you to place a little bit of a trim that possesses all of that space, and I want you to place a trim of quartz slab around it. And by the way, we're also going to use a little bit of white concrete just to connect that down too. I just want you to place a little bit of a trim around it, and then that'll actually keep the counter space quite nice and bright. We might even shrink it a little bit, because one little problematic area is here, but we could extend the white concrete down to kind of like meet the glass like this, and I don't think that that looks too bad. What we could even do is kind of do that to kind of like meet the glass like this, and I don't think that that looks too bad. What we could even do is kind of do that to kind of like meet the glass like this, and I don't think that that looks too bad. What we could even do is kind of do that. I don't think that that looks too bad. I think that that's actually kind of all right. Yeah, that's not too bad at all. I just wanted to have a skylight, because now as you kind of walk in, there's just a little bit of extra light. It almost points you towards this area here. We could even maybe that's why it looks a little bit weird. We want to place a little bit of quartz slab, but that's kind of the point. So this area here, just to the left of us, is actually a designated kind of like area where you can just like grab sandwiches and cakes and stuff, kind of like a little fridge area. I'm going to cut the area in half using a row of white concrete, kind of like this vertically. And what else are we going to do? Well, I wanted to. It's kind of strange actually. So we're going to extend the white concrete one row forwards, and then we're going to add white concrete on the right side here, and on the left and right sides, kind of like this. And then I think that I want to use some quartz stairs, some upside down quartz stairs here, to connect the two bottoms together like this. And then I want to just place some white concrete, some quartz stairs, some upside down quartz stairs here, to connect the two bottoms together like this. And then I want to just place some white concrete in the back. White concrete isn't a bad material. I think that looks alright, and it just looks a little bit more fridgy. You could even use maybe some like chiseled quartz. I just want it to look like racks basically. So I mean, we could even install shelves. Like we could use some like spruce trapdoor, and then we could something like that. Basically, yeah, that looks pretty good. And then we can item frame up a little bit, so we can put some different things in these item frames. So kind of like place the item frames. We'll place some different things in there. Maybe put a couple of cakes like laid on there. Can put some different things in these item frames. So kind of like place the item frames here, for instance. Maybe like here. We'll place some different things in there, maybe put a couple of cakes like laid on there. It just looks a little bit better, I think, than having the grey background instead. I kind of want to have a cabinet here on this right side, like next to the counter. That's going to be two spruce wood planks, kind of like wedged into the here, the black concrete in between the counter space. And I'm going to place spruce trapdoors extending upwards like this, alongside the spruce wood, like that. And I'm going to place a spruce trapdoor here as well, like this. And like this, alongside the spruce wood, like that. And I'm going to place a spruce trapdoor here as well, like this. And I'm going to place an item frame in the top right corner, and just to make it look a little bit more exciting, exciting, I'm just going to use some like flower parts and some buttons and maybe like a little bit of cocoa beans, so like cocoa beans here, flower part. I'm just going to use some like flower parts and some buttons and maybe like a little bit of cocoa beans, so like cocoa beans here, flower part, and maybe just like a couple of buttons. And you could even use like an actual flower in the pot as well. That's something that you cocoa beans, so like cocoa beans here, to place an item frame in the top right corner. And just to make it look a little bit more exciting, I'm just going to use some like flower parts and some buttons and maybe like a little bit of cocoa beans, so like cocoa beans here, flower part, and maybe just like a couple of buttons. And you could even use like an actual flower in the pot as well. That's something that you can place along the counter too, just to make it look a little bit more interesting. And can you guys tell that I'm trying my best to make as much stuff as we can before we have to swap this along the counter too, just to make it look a little bit more interesting. And can you guys tell that I'm trying my best to make as much stuff as we can before we have to swap all of these materials over? We also have to make a little counter here, extending across the back of the build. That's going to be quartz slab. Oh, and we also need our oak trap doors. Quartz slab here just to create a little bit of counter space right at the back of these. We also need our oak trap doors. Quartz slab here just to create a little bit of counter space right at the back of the little counter here, extending across the back of the build. That's going to be quartz slab. Oh, and we also need our oak trap doors. Quartz slab here just to create a little bit of counter space right at the back of the store here. And we're going to place an oak trap door. And we are also going to, let me designate where the coffee machine is going to go. The coffee machine is going to go right here, right in the middle. So if you just place two flower pots preemptively, like right in the middle of all of these quartz slabs, that kind of sets us up a little bit later. It's going to go. The coffee machine is going to go right here, right in the middle. So if you just place two flower pots preemptively, like right in the middle of all of these quartz slabs, that kind of sets us up a little bit later too. We can use the quartz stairs here. You can place kind of like a cash register anywhere along there. It doesn't really matter, wherever you choose. We can also later too. We can use the quartz stairs here. You can place kind of like a cash register anywhere along there. It doesn't really matter, wherever you choose. We can also use the glass pane that we have as well. We can make some seats too. So the seats are pretty much, we're going to need the oak wood stairs and we'll need the oak fence. We're not going to give... we're not going to, well, maybe we will. You maybe grab the oak trapdoors, I'm not sure if we'll use them. And also the white carpet too. So this area inside here, I kind of just want a seating area. I'm going to place an oak wood stair here and here, just alongside of the... So this area inside here, I kind of just want a seating area. I'm going to place an oak wood stair here and here, just alongside of the windows. And I'm just going to place some oak fence in front of them and also a white carpet on. I'm going to place an oak wood stair here and here, just alongside of the windows. And I'm just going to place some oak fence in front of them and also a white carpet on top, just to create tables. And then I'm going to leave a gap of one. I'm going to have the oak wood stairs come the other way. So I'm going to have a set of seats here so that you're not kind of like face to face with somebody. We've kind of like got them the opposite way, just like a little seating area just for the inside. I'm going to have a little bit of a glass barrier, so a little bit of glass here, just kind of like encircling this area, just kind of keeping it separate from the rest of rest of it. So a little bit of glass here, just kind of like encircling this area, just kind of keeping it separate from the rest of the shop. So kind of like keeping this area. So a little bit of glass here, just kind of like encircling this area, just kind of keeping it separate from the rest of the shop. So kind of like keeping this area a little bit separate. And that's pretty much most of what we can do with the materials that we've had, and we've really milked all of those materials for what we can use. What we will now need to complete the rest of the store, ladies and gentlemen, is all of these materials that I'm now showing you on the screen. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make the rather fancy to finish it off. Alright, so now that we have all that stuff, we can get this party started, ladies and gentlemen. So, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a rather fancy looking coffee machine that I have on the back counter here, and it's quite easy to make. So basically, above this left flower pot here that we placed earlier, place a tripwire hook. Above the right one, place a lever. On the left side, I want you to place 2 red terracotta, and on the right side, I also want you to place 2 red terracotta. I'm realising that earlier it was probably a mistake to place these quartz slabs, so I'm actually going to get rid of them. And I guess we'll just have the quartz slabs present along the quartz probably better. And along the outside, we'll just have the quartz slabs kind of like extend around and connect along the counter like this. That's probably a better place for them. And the reason that we want to... not have any quartz slabs like that is because we want to be able to place some white carpet along the top here, along the top of the coffee machine. And just in case it isn't apparent what this thing is, we're going to place a couple of item frames just here on the right side. We're going to place a couple of cocoa beans as well, and we'll also place some stone buttons, and we can place that on the left side. So just kind of it just looks like one of those fancy coffee machines, or at least it does to me, that you see people using that I really don't understand. But yeah, fancy coffee machine. On the right side, I'm just going to decorate the area with some like brewing stands, maybe even like I'll drop the occasional lantern about the place just to keep it nice and yeah, fancy coffee machine. On the left and right sides, I'm just going to decorate the area with some like brewing stands, nice and fine. Maybe some cups like that. What we could also do is we could grab some like that, some like brewing stands, maybe even like a actual lantern about the place just to keep it nice and bright. Some sea pickles here to represent some cups like that. What we could also do is we could grab some cakes and cookies and pie, and we could... so that people can have them. Maybe some cookies and pumpkin pie, or you could use bread or any sort of other material, really. Anything was a decoration. What you could do, I mean, I only bought this like that, but you could have like a little area where you can get like sugar from as well. Maybe that could even be here. Maybe this is where the sugar storage could be. Grab some sugar from maybe like a countertop here or something like that. Maybe you could have like just like a couple here, like to represent there's some sugar about. Although it doesn't make any sense without a container, to be honest. But I mean, you know, you could do that anyway if you want to. And, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, the only things that you can really do is maybe like use some paintings and some sea lanterns, or they're still referred to as sea lanterns on console. They're lanterns. They're not sea lanterns. And if you wanted lanterns, or they're still referred to as sea lanterns on console. They're lanterns. They're not sea lanterns. And if you wanted to, I mean, you can just place some paintings. Like there's plenty of good places to place them. I quite like it in between the windows and stuff. So like here, and I particularly like the one that was. There, maybe like here as well. I like the idea of just having some paints, preferably not. Repeatable. I think that there is actually just about enough to have it's so that you don't have to repeat. If we get the yellow one, or that one, that's fine. Yeah, there's actually enough that you don't even have to repeat them at all. You can just have like a load of paintings about, maybe even hang like a lantern or two. You don't even have to repeat them at all. You can just have like.
You call home, or your very own business.
We can help with whatever matters most. Now, more than money.
Well, I like the idea of just having some paints, preferably non-repeatable. I think that there is actually just about enough to have it so that you don't have to repeat. If we get the yellow one, or that one, that's fine. Yeah, there's actually enough that you don't even have to repeat them at all. You can just have like a load of paintings about, maybe even hang like a lantern or two. Enough that you don't even have to repeat them at all. You can just have like a load of paintings about, maybe even hang like a lantern or two, or just to kind of like keep things bright too. What else could you do? I just realised we could add some carpet as well, some red carpet. I've missed out a lot of stuff here. Some red carpet just to kind of like extend to the counter here and kind of like around. I always like to add carpet, you know, in kind of like the direction that people should really be going. So I kind of like that idea. And honestly, we've kind of created a really cozy coffee shop like this, guys. I mean, this is about as cozy as it gets. I don't think that it really needs any more stuff. If you wanted to absolutely fill every single crevice, then you know you could add, say, like an armor stand, or maybe you could add, say, like a potted plant. Like you could have a fancy potted plant, or you could just have like a regular just. just something kind of like boring, like potted plant, like just here in the corner if you wanted to. You know, however you want to do it. Just if you want to fill up absolutely every single crevice, then you're more than welcome to. But I actually think that we're sort of done here, ladies and gentlemen. I think that we've done a really good job of this. I think that it's quite detailed enough. Very well done. So this is what your Costa coffee shop should look like once it's been 100% fully completed.
We have finished a Costa coffee shop. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me building a Costa coffee shop. If you did guys enjoy this video, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video from me, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a lovely day guys, peace out.